Today we will look at three of the most famous stepwells in India, located in the state of Gujarat. This is, I must say, my favorite state because here there is strict prohibition, vegetarians are all around, and there is perfect cleanliness, which in my opinion you will not find anywhere else in India. Also, it is forbidden to fly a drone over all historical sites here. The map on the government website is maintained very well, and therefore, unfortunately, we did not do this as we respect the law. But you definitely need to study the stepwells themselves, and not only because a collection of faces with noses has been preserved here beneath a thick layer of silt. And this is a huge rarity in a world where Muslims have managed things even a little bit. You know this perfectly well. But it is also important to study them because here we see a wonderful example of what used to be achieved absolutely by hand, using simple and understandable tools. And in order for no one to be able to mislead you regarding the real technologies of an ancient, highly developed civilization, for this you need to be aware of the real technologies of human and medieval civilization. And they're all here. Hello friends, you are on the Proto-Civilization channel. With you is Mikhail Gayko. We are still in India, Gujarat state, and in front of us is a 16th century stepwell. I wanted to say ancient, but it's not actually that ancient. And right at the entrance to the stepwell, we see our native, beloved, adored marks from an angle grinder. These stones were made with the help of that very tool and of course something else as well. These are definitely modern stones. That means this stepwell was added to later. Which stepwell? This one right here. This is sandstone. It's quite easy to work with. They started building it around the time when Hampi fell. The first stepwell that we will see is named Rudabai or Adalaj. It is located in the village of the same name near the city of Ahmedabad in the state of Gujarat, India. This unique architectural monument was built in 1499 and served not only to provide water to the local population, but also as a shady, cool place for travelers following the trade route to rest under the scorching sun of India. In Gujarat, such stepwells are commonly called vavs, and as a rule there is a beautiful but tragic legend behind each of these vavs. According to the legend that has come down to us, in the 15th century Raja Rana ruled this territory. His kingdom was small. It suffered from a lack of water and was highly dependent on rainfall. To ease the suffering of his people, Raja Rana began the construction of a large and deep stepwell. Here we should pause for a moment and marvel at the size of medieval Indian kingdoms, one of which was so small that building this stepwell completely solved its water problem. Before the project was completed, the kingdom was attacked by Sultan Muhammad Begda, the Muslim ruler of the neighboring Khanate. Raja Rana was killed in battle, after which Sultan Muhammad Begda, as the victor, took over all his territory. Raja Rana Singh's widow Rudabai wanted to follow her husband into the afterlife. However, Sultan Begda did not allow her to take her own life and proposed marriage to the widowed woman. She agreed to the marriage proposal, but on the condition that he first complete the construction of a stepwell as a wedding gift. The Sultan was so deeply captivated by the beauty of the widowed queen that he agreed to her request and built the stepwell in record time. As soon as the stepwell was completed, Sultan Begda reminded the widow of her promise to marry him. But instead, Ruda Bey, who had achieved her goal and completed the construction of the stepwell that had been started by her late husband, decided to end her own life. She walked around the stepwell with prayers and jumped into it, ending the saga of the stepwell's construction with a tragedy. Well, let's move away from the sad legend and enjoy the architectural features that have survived to this day. The Adalaj stepwell goes 5 levels deep into the ground, forming a complex and magnificent sandstone structure where arches, columns, and steps lead to a water reservoir at a depth of about 15 meters. The architecture of the stepwell represents a unique blend of Hindu and Islamic styles. The inner walls are covered with carvings depicting Hindu deities, mythological creatures, flowers, animals, and birds. Water stood here at some point as seen by the traces of deposits. And this entire pattern was flooded with water as well, but nevertheless these lintels, typical of the stone carvers of that time, are everywhere. Everything below was shaped by water. The stepwell was dug deep to access groundwater, taking into account seasonal fluctuations in water levels due to rainfall and river floods throughout the year. Adalaj stands out among other stepwells due to its 3 entrance staircases. They converge at a single point on the first level at the base, creating a spacious square platform. As you descend deeper to the 5th underground level, you can feel the air temperature around you becoming pleasantly cool and humid, allowing you to relax and rest after the scorching heat. Above the square platform, the columns, beams, walls, and arched openings spiral and extend all the way to the top. However, the initial part of the stepwell, closer to the surface, is a vertical space open to the sky. The 4 corners of the square are reinforced with stone beams set at a 45-degree angle. Here we see that the wall blocks are made using a fundamentally different technology. There is none of this jaw technique. This masonry, which I now call dentil, begins. There are no straight lines here. But, nevertheless, the joint of the upper stone, this line, follows the line of the lower stone. It will have to be repeated every time, because for some reason it doesn't sink in for everyone. None of the techniques we can consider are actually applicable here, except for the technique that requires constantly lifting to select jeweler-like and lower the stone again in exactly the same way a dentist does when adjusting your bite. Ordinary sawn blocks of quite a human size are very neatly laid into the walls. I don't quite understand why they had to kill the stonecutters who made this well. Because by the 16th century, all of India already had similar top-quality structures all over it. But nevertheless, the legend says that's how it was. Sandstone, my friends, is also quite a diverse stone. Its hardness can vary quite a lot, I think from 3 to 6 on the Mohs scale. But this one looks quite brittle. Motifs of Islamic architecture blend very well with the symbols of Hindu and Jain deities carved at different levels of the stepwell. The carvings on the upper floors depict elephants measuring just 76 millimeters, yet each elephant features a unique design. The Islamic architectural style can be attributed to the Muslim Sultan Begada, who completed the construction. Images of women performing daily chores, such as churning buttermilk, adorning themselves, scenes of dancers and musicians performing, and the Sultan closely watching all these activities are carved on the walls. It remains to add on my own behalf that a story where a Muslim invader creates architecture for the sake of a woman, an architectural object in the style of a foreign religion, is extremely rare to my great regret. The Stepwell turned out to be not as large as it seemed in the photographs. We fully explored it and filmed it. Today, according to the map, we still have two amazing places to visit, a fort and a Stepwell, so let's not put it off any longer. Well, it's 40 degrees and noon has struck. Today, according to the map, we still have two amazing places, one fort and another Stepwell. We've checked out everything here, filmed it, and now we're moving on. I'm Mikhail Gaiko, and we are still in India, in the wonderful state of Gujarat. Before us is the Modhera Sun Temple, which will turn 1,000 years old in 2 years. It is immediately obvious from the tops of the walls that they have been reassembled, because this, for example, is a butterfly tie, this is also a butterfly tie, and almost nowhere do I see the two parts matching. And that means the stones were reassembled, somehow mixed up, everything here was rearranged. Well, if not everything, then a significant part of it. The second complex that we are going to study is the Modhera Sun Temple, or the Sun Temple. It is located in Modhera, a small town situated about 100 kilometers from Ahmedabad. It was built 1,000 years ago, in 1026 on the bank of the Pushpavati River, and is one of the oldest temples in the state of Gujarat. The entire temple complex of Modhera is carved out of soft yellow sandstone. Yes, this is truly magnificent. Everything is carved. Not a single 10 square centimeter patch is left uncarved. But this is sandstone, a fairly soft stone. Just like before, and you can see how badly it has weathered over time. Unlike basalt, let me remind you, which hardly ages over time. And unlike soapstone, which despite its softness also somehow survives remarkably well. Every year, on the 21st of June, the day of the summer solstice, the first rays of the rising sun illuminated the Murti, a statue of the sun god Surya made of pure gold and adorned with precious stones. The Murti itself has long been gone, stolen by the warriors of the Delhi Sultan at the very beginning of the 14th century. But the images on the friezes, walls, and 52 pillars supporting the dome of the hall, where believers once gathered and celebrations were held, are well preserved. Craftsmen immortalized in stone scenes from the cycle of human life, stories from the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, philosophical parables about birth and death, and even erotic scenes. An increased amount of erotic content in this temple because, like, for example, here and practically this entire level just above human height is dedicated to eroticism to one degree or another. It seemed to me for some reason that this belonged to Muslims, a 16th century building. By all accounts, everything here should have already been Islamized, but we will verify this more accurately. Today, the temple complex consists of three main elements. The Surya temple itself, a pool for collecting water and ritual bathing, and a platform for worshippers. Around the perimeter of the ritual bathing pool, there are 108 miniature shrines in the form of stupas adorned with intricate carvings. And the pool itself symbolizes the waters of the cosmic ocean from which the sun rises every morning. The Sun Temple complex also included the Sabha Mandapa, a separate hall for performing rituals. It has no walls. The main hall is surrounded by 52 carved columns representing the number of weeks in a year. The Sanctum Sanctorum of the temple, where the statue of the god Surya used to stand, was erected on a plinth in the shape of a blooming lotus flower, which is still considered a symbol of the sun and longevity today. Every year, Indian tourists and pilgrims traditionally first go down to the pool, where they recite prayers and perform ritual ablutions, and only then do they climb the steps to the temple, leaving their shoes at the entrance beforehand. Here, there is a bat, look, hanging, and right to the left of it, to the right of it. This constantly throws us back to the soft stone theory again. An indirect sign that this sandstone had a soft surface. What do you think, Anton Yuryevich? Look, damn it, it's all smeared with a finger.
Yeah, usually they just tapped it a bit with a 3-point chisel, and that's it.
Right? So there are no signs that the stone was soft? When you break it, it leaves grooves like that? This material doesn't crumble.
Finely compressed sand.
Well, maybe, yes. Okay. Well, everything here is covered with these tracks. But I'm telling you for sure that this is a soft rock, possibly about the same kind that Petra is made of. That means it can be worked with anything. In India so far, we haven't seen any signs of machine use. Or any unimaginable technologies or tools, for example, like the samples found in Egypt. Here so far, we haven't found anything like that, only the highest level of craftsmanship and incredible perseverance. But everything we see can be explained by the era in which it was made. There is a legend associated with the choice of the temple's site. It states that the avatar of the god Vishnu, Raja of Ayodhya, Rama, after a successful battle to free his spouse Rani Sita from captivity, turned to a divine sage for advice. Raja Rama wanted to find a suitable place to cleanse himself of the ultimate sin of killing a Brahmin. The sage pointed Rama to a place near the modern village of Modhera, which was formerly called Dharmaranya, meaning forests of righteousness in translation. Here Raja Rama performed a Hindu ritual sacrifice and later founded a village called Sitapur. The decision to build a temple in Modhera was made very much in the spirit of the times. In the middle of the first millennium, there was a rise in the popularity of Surya, whose cult had experienced a crisis in the post-Vedic era. After the rebirth of Surya as a revered deity, many sun temples were built, including in particular the complexes in Konark and Multan, constructed in a similar manner. The Modhera temple became known to Westerners only at the beginning of the 19th century, when it was rediscovered by the British Colonel Monier Williams in 1809. Friends, a brief summary about India, where we have been conducting our expedition for 3 months now, and during this time we have seen several dozen similar temples, forts, palaces, and everything else. I'll mention several points right away. First, history here starts in the Common Era, mostly everywhere, and the further south you go, the later it begins. There are no particularly ancient buildings. Second, many of us, including you, need to slightly reconsider our approach to the capabilities of people from 1,000 years ago. These capabilities were quite good. They allowed them to make things out of almost any type of stone entirely with hand tools. Well, from what we've seen, only with basalt do we have some doubts. Everything else fully conforms to the laws of manual work. So let's agree that 1,000 years ago, humanity knew how to make amazing things out of stone. That's one. And two, it is that there are no 1,000-ton blocks here. The maximum we saw was 6 to 7 tons, the largest ones. There are no saw cuts here. There is no high-precision machining or surfaces that would indicate it here. Everything we've seen here, and we've explored all of central South India, is all handmade, more or less from the Middle Ages. We'll draw some conclusions about this later. And the final stepwell in our narrative today is the legendary Rani Ki Vav. Another 11th century stepwell located in the Indian city of Patan on the banks of the Saraswati River in the state of Gujarat. Rani Ki Vav literally translates to Queen Stepwell. Its construction is attributed to Udayamati, the queen consort of the Chalukya king. Silted up, it was rediscovered in the 1940s and restored only in the 1980s by the Archaeological Survey of India. This stepwell is designed as an inverted temple, highlighting the sanctity of water. It is divided into 7 levels of stairs with sculpted panels. These panels feature more than 500 principal sculptures and over 1,000 minor ones, combining religious, secular, and symbolic imagery. We proceed to the professional assessment. The staircase is all brand new. These side walls at the top on the 2nd and 3rd levels are brand new. Well, by brand new, I mean it was done at the end of the last century. And everything else apparently was underground here in a seriously ruined state, but I don't see anything in good preservation yet. Let's get closer. By the way, there's not much water either. It is amazing that there is no temple on top here, right? Meaning either everything was demolished or it was never here. It was just a well in a field. Look, how strange. The blocks are new, but they have butterfly joints in them. Oh no, wait, no, these are old blocks. The new blocks will be in the next row. These are the old ones. Yes. And there are butterfly joints here too. Anton Yuryevich, I need help. So they made those butterfly joints just for decorative purposes, right? So they wouldn't stand out too much. Are these really new blocks? But I think there's a slight difference. Maybe they just took old blocks and put them here?
Let us go down. Let us see.
Look how smooth it is here, but here it's not smooth at all. Well, yes, indeed, there is a feeling. It was buried until the 60s. By the way, the steps are very comfortable, right for my height. Comfortable steps are a rare phenomenon. It is found practically nowhere in the ancient world. And here everything is for people of human height, different ages and builds. In general, it is comfortable. One can easily go down. Oh, we haven't gone down yet. It's just getting started. The style is exactly the same as in the previous temple. We saw, and the preservation is better, significantly better. Considering that these places are the same age and it seems like the same kind of stone was used, there are a lot of traces of water here. All of this is covered with calcium deposits. It's heavily covered. Look, it turns out it was filled up to this mark. Yes or no? No, there are no deposits at the bottom. Oh, let's go check the noses. Let's go check the noses. The noses here are intact. Guys, we found the noses. Now we'll photograph all of them. We need this to reconstruct the appearance of this person who lived here 1,000 years ago. We still don't really know exactly what he looked like. Here the places will give us some clues. Wow! Here it is, the great pig croco man. Look at the things he's holding in his hands. They're like some kind of discs. No, the preservation is good. Everything is just covered with deposits, but the shape itself and the stone under these deposits have been preserved quite well. We could use some Mr. Muscle here. That would be really great. Rani Ki Vav was built during the reign of the Chalukya dynasty. It is located in the Saraswati River area. The city was sacked by the Sultan of Delhi, Qutb al-Din Aibak, at the very beginning of the 13th century, and then again by Alauddin Khalji at the very end of the same century. In the rarest surviving text Prabandha Chintamani, compiled by the Jain monk Merutunga in 1304, it is mentioned that the Stepwell was commissioned in 1063 and was completed after 20 years. Later, the Stepwell was flooded by the Sarasvati River and completely silted up. In the 1890s, Henry Cousins and James Burgess visited it when it was completely buried underground, and only the well's shaft and a few pillars were visible. They described it as a huge pit 87 meters in size. In Travels in Western India, James Todd mentioned that material from the Stepwell was reused in another Stepwell built in modern Patan. Probably it refers to the Trikambarot Ki Vav, the Stepwell of Bahadur Singh. In the 1940s, excavations conducted under the Baroda state rediscovered the Stepwell. In 1986, the Archaeological Survey of India completed major excavations and restoration. During the excavations, an image of Udayamati was also discovered. The restoration of the Stepwell was carried out from 1981 to 1987. We made a very interesting observation. I think water once stood at approximately this level, possibly dirty water. Thanks to this, the destroyers broke all the noses that were located higher, and in some places, perhaps, they even chipped off the heads of the statues. But everything below just has a bit of residue at most. Everything has been preserved for us, and now we'll take a look at it. Rani Ki Vav was declared a monument of national importance and was named the cleanest iconic place in India at the India Sanitation Conference in 2016. Rani Ki Vav is considered one of the finest and largest examples of Stepwell architecture in Gujarat. It is depicted on the 100 rupees banknote 2018 model. The Stepwell was built at the height of craftsmen's ability in Stepwell construction and the Marugujara architectural style. By the way, do you know what the guys from Gujarat didn't have? They didn't have a lathe. We have not seen a single form here by which one could suspect it. What is plentiful in South India is so far at zero here. It is classified as a Nanda-type stepwell. Its length is approximately 65 meters, width 20 meters, and depth 28 meters. The fourth level is a pavilion that leads to a rectangular tank measuring 9.5 by 9.4 meters at a depth of 23 meters. The entrance is located in the east, and the well is at the westernmost end and consists of a shaft 10 meters in diameter and 30 meters deep. The stepwell is divided into 7 levels of stairs that lead down to a deep round well. The corridor is divided into equal intervals by multi-story pavilions with columns. The walls, pillars, columns, brackets, and beams are decorated with carvings and scrollwork. The niches in the side walls are adorned with elegant figures and sculptures. The stepwell has 212 pillars and more than 1,500 sculptures, many of which, by the way, are perfectly preserved to this day precisely due to the fact that they were deep in the silt. At the very bottom step is the entrance to a tunnel 30 kilometers long and leading to the town of Sidhpur. The tunnel was built specifically for the king, who could use it in case of defeat during a war. Currently, the passage is blocked by stones and dirt. Well, friends, there are more than 150 unvisited spots left on our map. We plan to visit about 20 of them. So make sure you've subscribed to our channel. We'll be running around here for another week. See you soon.